Hi guys, we need to talk. We need to talk about the new Jeffree Star palette. I know, you're all probably like, Annette, why are you making this video? Like, what is this about? Well, let me tell you, I was on Instagram and I saw this palette, I didn't know it was coming out, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. And then I was like, oh, it's Jeffree Star. But I still kind of like the palette, and I don't know what it is. I'm usually not drawn to neutral palettes. If you're new here, I mostly do like very colorful and fun makeup, and for me to look at that palette and be like, ooh, I like that, is kind of weird. But there's something in me that kind of just likes that palette, and I think it's the combination between the neutrals and the berries and the blacks and the grays and the silver. There's something about that color combination that kind of just speaks to me a little bit, but I'm not going to buy that palette. I don't feature Jeffree Star on my channel anymore. It's not something I'm comfortable doing at this very moment. I'm not someone who cancels brands or people forever, but just for right now, we're not doing that. So I thought what we could do is something that I have never done on my channel, and I'm kind of excited. I want to just do a video duping the vibes of the palette and doing something that I could potentially have done if I had that palette with what I already own. So that's basically what this video is going to be. And like I said, I'm excited because this gives me a chance to kind of jump back into some of the palettes that I maybe haven't featured that much or maybe haven't used that much and just get more use out of my collection. And I also got a super exciting package from Auric Beauty yesterday. I ordered 2 of their new lashes. This is Samantha Ravndal's brand. And I'm excited to try one of these on with a look that we're gonna do today. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna, end up picking. I'll show you those when we get to that point. But let me show you the palettes that I've picked out for this video. So I thought, since I don't have a ton of like neutral palettes, I definitely have some, but I wanted to try to cut this down to as few palettes as possible. Of course, I could have gone through all my palettes and had like 5 palettes in front of me and had the exact same tones that are in his palettes, but that's not what I wanted this video to be. I wanted to see how close I could get to duping the vibes of his palette with as few palettes in my collection as I could. So the first one that came to my mind was the Stone Cold Fox palette from Colourpop. I mean, this is a very neutral palette, but it does have those grays and blacks and silvers in it. Now, I know that the neutral shades in this palette are not exactly what is in the Jeffree Star palette because his palette has more of those more warm tone mattes, I feel like, and these are a little bit more cool tone, which is why it's called the Stone Cold Fox palette. But I still think we're going to be able to make this work because there are those kind of colors that I'm sort of looking for, and to pair with that, I wanted a palette that had those berry shades in it. And it was kind of hard for me, honestly, to find a palette that wasn't huge, that still had those berry shades, but also had a couple of shimmers that would maybe be similar. And then I saw this one, and this is from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Sleepover palette, and I think I've only used this one time, and I put these side by side and I was like, wait, if this isn't the Jeffree Star palette like put together, I don't know what is, because these two are gonna pair so beautifully, and I think we're gonna get a really nice look out of this. And I think the other thing with the Jeffree Star palette is that even if this palette had come out from a different brand, even if I had bought this palette, it's the kind of palette that, since I don't really use neutrals that much, like most of that palette is neutral shades, and what drew me to it was the combination of the colors, I don't think that I would end up like feeling the need to do a lot of looks with it. Like, I feel like if I had done 1 or 2 or 3 looks, like I'd be satisfied. I've discovered that color story. I've done what I wanted to do, and I don't think I would reach for it again. So doing something like this is really fun for me, and I'm excited. So I don't know exactly what I want to do, but obviously I want to play with those berry shades. I definitely want to use the silver and the Colourpop palette, and I think I want to probably use maybe a couple of the neutrals as well, just to like kind of get all of those sort of mixed in together with one look. I think I want it to be quite a dramatic look though, so we're definitely gonna do something kind of dark and smoky and then have that super blinding contrast with the silver on the eyes. I think that's gonna look really nice. So I'm just priming with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base like I always do here. I do have a little bit of staining from a look that I did yesterday using one of my other Unearthly palettes. So I'm just gonna make sure that I cover that up nicely, but I think since we're gonna be using some pretty vibrant shades today, I don't think it's gonna be an issue to cover this up. I think what I want to do is I just want to start with a very basic neutral matte in my crease, and I'm going to use this one. This is a little bit of a warm tone matte compared to some of these other ones. I feel like there are definitely some like more mauve tones, and it's not really what I'm going for. So I'm going to take this one here, which is probably the most warm tone matte in this palette. This one is called Quarry Days. Quarry Days. I don't know what quarry means. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm basically just gonna put this in my crease as my kind of transition shade. I'm using a bit of a big fluffy brush here. Well, big for my eyes anyway. This is a detail brush really. It's from Luxie, it's a 237. And I'm just gonna use that to basically just put this into my crease. And I think I'm gonna use some of the berry tones to kind of deepen this up with and sort of blend out with a little bit. But I just wanna have a little bit of a base, especially in the front portion of my eyes here, because I don't think I want those purples or pinks to go all the way in. I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to just reach for the pinks and the purples, because obviously there's more to that palette, and I feel like it's the color story as a whole that I'm trying to emulate and put on my eyes here, and not pick the colors that are like the most colorful and the most bright. Like, I want this to look like a look that you could have done using the new Jeffree Star palette. And I do have to admit, there was something in me that was very tempted to pick up that palette and review it. But like I said, I'm still not like 100% comfortable reviewing his stuff yet. Let me know how you feel about the whole situation. Like, I feel like he hasn't really been in any drama or anything like that lately. So, you know, as time goes on, maybe it's something that I'm okay with getting back into reviewing, because I know a lot of you came to me from those videos and you guys really love the brand. I know obviously a lot of you have changed opinions, just like myself, since everything has happened with Jeffree Star. But yeah, just let me know how you feel down below. Would you be comfortable reviewing him as a brand now? Do you feel like time has passed? Has there been, is this enough time to, like, I don't know, give him a second chance is what I'm asking. Let me know how you feel. I think this is enough of a base for what it is that I want. I think next I'm gonna go into the shade here called Flirty, which is the very bright pink matte. And I'm gonna take that in the outer sort of crease, I guess, of my eye. I'm just gonna kind of layer that a little bit over the top of this shade. And then I'm gonna deepen up the very outer corner with the purple. I think that's kind of where I'm going with this. I do want the front portion of my crease to be mostly that neutral matte, and I think that with the lashes, since they are very flared, I think that's gonna look very nice, just having the most of the portion of the eyeshadows like on the outer portion of my eye here. I'm gonna wing this out just a little bit as well, just to get some shape to this. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this underneath my eye as well, just on the outer portion. I don't think I'm gonna take it all the way in. I'm thinking I'll use maybe a light shimmer on the front portion of my lower lash line or something like that. I don't want my lower lash line to be like super full of eyeshadow. I just want to make sure that it sort of looks cohesive here. And this is actually a really nice palette. I enjoy this color story a lot, and even though I haven't had the chance to really play with it as much as I would like to, I feel like it's quite a versatile palette for being a 9 pan, and I really like the formulas in here as well. They always just perform so nicely. If you're new to Unearthly, I will link them down below. If this is a brand that you maybe haven't heard of, maybe you found me because of this video, I'll link it down below if you want to go check it out. I also do have a code with the brand. It's just Annette, and it will save you 10%. It is an affiliated code, but I really like everything that Unearthly does. I feel like their quality is just really, really nice, and they come out with super fun color stories, and I really like them just as a brand. So I think this is looking about as even as I'm going to get it on both eyes. That's the problem when your eyes just aren't even to begin with, is trying to trick things into looking like they're even, but I think this is looking pretty good. Next, I'm gonna go into the shade here called Sweetheart, which is the kind of dark berry shade in the palette. Just gonna use my same brush. This is from Blend Bunny. It's the B1 brush. I really like this for doing really any kind of crease work and packing on the outer corner. I think it's just a really nice, precise brush to be doing this with. I'm just starting by packing this on, and I think I'm gonna deepen this up a little bit with the black afterwards as well, because I feel like this is not quite as dark as the dark berry shade in the Jeffree Star palette, so I want to make sure that I just deepen it up a little bit. Now, this doesn't have to be exactly a look that you could do with his palette. Like I said, I'm just trying to dupe the vibes of it and kind of get something that is similar that maybe you could have done with his palette. And I think with the shimmer that I'm going to be using as well, maybe 2 of the shimmers, they're not going to be exact, but that's okay. maybe this could just encourage you to do the same thing. Maybe there's a palette that you're really interested in, but maybe you don't want to spend the money on it right now. Maybe you know that deep down you really wouldn't use that color story more than a couple of times. Maybe try to do something similar. Maybe look at a palette and pick out the shades in that palette that are, you know, calling to you, and then do a look using similar shades in your collection and just see how you feel about it. And if it is something that maybe you do want to explore further, maybe it is a palette for you that you want to pick up. And if not, then at least you didn't waste your money buying something that you know you're not going to use more than a couple of times, you know? I'm gonna dip into the matte black in the Colourpop palette here as well. And I'm just using a little bit on the outer corner of my eye. I don't want this to really get out of hand, and this is quite a buildable black too, so I don't think it will. I'm just gonna kind of take my time and add just some depth on the outer portion. So I think this is looking pretty good. Now you can see I'm keeping most of the inner portion of my eye quite open and free of color because I just think that's going to look really nice with the lashes that we're going to use today. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised when I opened the boxes yesterday because of the size of them. Like, I really expected the lashes to be a lot bigger because it's so hard to see what lashes really look like, you know, when people are putting them on and stuff, because you don't know how big their eyes are and just how much lid space they have, and it's tough to see what lashes would look like on your eyes. But I will say, I think that those lashes are going to be very wearable for a lot of people. I ended up getting 2 of them. I didn't get the most intense pair because I was worried they'd be too big. But looking at the ones that I do have now, I do feel like I could actually probably get away with the more intense ones as well. So I really like how this is looking. Taking the tiniest amount of this black as well, and I'm just gonna kind of connect it to my lower lash line. And I'm just going to work on the blends between these colors a little bit more just before we go in with the shimmer. I just want to make sure that it's all nice and blended. And it's always a good idea to go back over edges just one last time before you think that you're done, you know, just to make sure that it actually is nice and blended. And I'm next gonna take the silver shimmer. I'm really excited about this because I haven't used this one yet, and I know this is probably one of the best shades in the palette because I have swatched it. That looks absolutely insane. I'm gonna spray that with some Fix Plus because I'm just lazy and I don't know where my glitter primer is, so that's just what we're doing. And I'm basically gonna put that, oh my god, that is insane. Okay, I'm gonna put this pretty much all over my lid, especially in the front portion. I'm gonna leave a little bit of room just on the outer portion here. I am gonna use a darker shimmer to just help with the blend here because this is a very stark contrast, and I don't think I'll be able to get a good blend between a silver and basically a black eyeshadow, but oh my god, this silver is insane. What I'm gonna do just to get a better blend is I'm gonna go into the Unearthly palette and I'm gonna grab the shade here. I'm pretty sure there's something similar in the Jeffree Star palette. This is almost like a satiny eggplant shade that's a little bit darker than an eggplant, and these shades are great for just merging a matte into a shimmer. So I'm just gonna kind of, like I said, use this as a binder between these two colors, and I think that these are gonna look beautiful together. Just tapping into the black again a little bit and just making sure that the edges here are looking nice, but I think that looks exactly the way that I was envisioning, and I love this. Like, this looks so good. Now the question is, do I want to do anything underneath my eye here? I feel like having the silver there is a little bit too stark maybe. Do I want to put another shimmer on my lower lash line? I think I'm going to take a little bit of this shade here. Now this is more of a warm toned shimmer, but I think that the contrast between the cool and warm is going to work okay. And there is a shade that's similar to this in the Jeffree Star palette too. It's just not as kind of shifty as the one that I'm gonna use. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this. This is also what I have on as my face highlighter today because I just wanted to try it as that, and I think it looks really, really nice. And I think this actually works quite well. Like, I really like mixing warm tones and cool tones. I think that if done correctly, it can actually work, and I think this works. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade on my brow bone as well, just to kind of tie it all together. And I'm gonna do a very thin line on my top lid here with a liquid liner. I'm gonna do a tiny wing just on the outer portion as well, just because I am gonna do lashes and I like doing that when I am wearing lashes. I'm still trying to get good at doing lashes without having liner, but I feel like especially with these, if you don't get a perfect application, it's definitely gonna show because it is a thin black band. And before I do the lashes or anything like that, I'm just gonna curl my own lashes a little bit. So let me show you the ones that I ended up getting. So the packaging on these is absolutely stunning. You can actually see the Auric logo through the packaging, and then you kind of take it out, and here is what the compact itself looks like. This is beautiful. Like, it's really, really well made. I want to say I paid $30 per pair of these. So you get 2 lashes for $30. So how this works is, this is the style called Glass Wing. So if you open the top here, you have a pair of half lashes. These look beautiful. These are one of the more less intense. I think these are the most subtle that they sell. And then you flip the compact to the other side and you have basically the same lash and a full length lash. So I haven't tried any of these. I think I'm gonna use the ones that are a little bit more intense, and these come in a different packaging. These are in the style Clouded, comes in the same compact. And this compact is really nice because you can actually store other lashes in this once you're done with these. So here is the half lash in the style Clouded. I think these are the ones that I'm going to use. And then you also have the full lash in the same style. These are beautiful. Like, these are definitely the ones that I'm the most excited about, and I think I'm going to love these. But like I said, I think I'm going to use the half lashes today. So I am not a lash expert at all. I've really only been playing with lashes for the past like 2 months or so, I want to say. So I'm just going to try to put these on my own because I need to concentrate. And then I will let you know how my experience was, and if it went well, fingers crossed. Let's hope so. Okay, so the lashes are on, and honestly, these were so easy to put on. Like, if you struggle with lashes, if you want to get into lashes, I would say that this is a great place to start because I didn't have any problems. They were the perfect length. I feel like they're even smaller than maybe I thought they were going to be just from looking at them in the box, and I really like the size of them. Like, I don't feel like I have them on my eyes at all, and I think they look really nice. I feel like they completed the look nicely. Not that you need lashes to complete a look, but I feel like it looks really nice. It doesn't look like too much, you know? And I struggle sometimes to find lashes that look good on my eyes while still giving me a little bit of a lift, but not being like so big that they swallow my eyes. And I think I'm gonna be wearing these a lot. So I think this was a really fun video to do. I really like the eye look, and I think that Jeffree's palette is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really think he did a good job with the color story. There might be a couple of repetitive shades, but I think a lot of people are going to love that palette. And I had a really good time like playing with it. Or playing with the things I had in my collection to replicate something that I would have done with his palette. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this, because I can definitely do that. It just depends on kind of how much time I have, if I'm still backed up on reviewing stuff, which I'm actually like through all of the things that I have in my box to review now, which feels so good, but I already know I have things coming in, so I'm not gonna, I won't be enjoying it for that long, but I'm enjoying it while it lasts. And I'm enjoying playing with some of the makeup that I have in my collection. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to see, I would say, some similar videos, I don't really think I have any, but here's a video that you might enjoy. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.